There is a question that has followed human beings across centuries, whispered in quiet moments when the world finally softens and there is nothing left to distract you from yourself. It comes when daily noise settles, when you're lying awake at night replaying your day, when a conversation lingers in your mind, when your conscience speaks louder than your comfort. The question is simple, yet endlessly complex: am I a good person? It is fascinating how deeply this question shapes us. Without ever saying it aloud, it influences the choices we make, the relationships we build, the way we speak to others, and even the way we speak to ourselves. We want to be good people, not for applause, not for validation, but because goodness feels like the truest expression of our humanity. And yet, somewhere in our journey through life, the meaning of goodness became distorted, buried beneath unrealistic expectations and misunderstood ideals. Many people have come to believe that being a good person means never upsetting anyone, never disappointing anyone, never choosing yourself, never making mistakes, never failing, never changing your mind. They believe goodness requires self-erasure, as if to be seen as good, you must shrink yourself until there is nothing left. But this is not goodness, it is fear masquerading as virtue. And so many deeply kind people walk around believing they are not good enough simply because they are human. The truth is that being a good person has never been about perfection. It has always been about sincerity, the authenticity of your intentions, the awareness of your impact, the willingness to grow. A good person is not someone who never stumbles. It is someone who pays attention to their stumbles and chooses to rise with humility and understanding. Goodness is not measured in dramatic gestures. It lives in the subtle decisions you make daily. It looks like choosing patience when irritation wants to take over. It looks like saying, "I'm sorry," without defensiveness. It looks like acknowledging when you were unfair, even if no one forces you to. It looks like listening fully when someone trusts you with their truth. It looks like giving people the benefit of the doubt, while still having the wisdom to protect yourself when necessary. And being good does not always feel gentle. Sometimes goodness requires strength. Saying no can be an act of goodness. Walking away from something toxic can be an act of goodness. Being honest when a lie would be easier can be an act of goodness. Protecting your boundaries can be one of the kindest things you do, both for yourself and for the people around you. If we look deeper, we see that goodness is not one thing. It is an evolving, living quality shaped by reflection and choice. And when we explore examples, the picture becomes even clearer. Being good can mean noticing that your friend seems quieter than usual and deciding to check in, not because you want recognition, but because their well-being matters to you. The benefit of this simple act is profound. Your relationships grow richer, trust deepens, and you create a world where people feel supported rather than alone. Being good can mean admitting when you've spoken harshly in a moment of frustration. The benefit is not simply repairing the relationship, it is repairing the connection you have with yourself, because every sincere apology strengthens your integrity. You learn to live with less inner conflict. Being good can mean respecting someone's boundaries even when it inconveniences you. The benefit? You become someone who practices emotional responsibility, someone who understands that love and control cannot coexist. Being good can mean choosing not to gossip or speak poorly about someone, even when others around you do. The benefit? You maintain your dignity. You protect your spirit from smallness. You become someone who doesn't poison their own inner world. Being good can mean recognizing your own limits and choosing rest when your body needs it. This may not sound like goodness, but it is, because caring for yourself prevents resentment, burnout, and emotional collapse. The benefit is stability, clarity, and the ability to show up for others without losing yourself. These acts of goodness not only uplift others, they shape your character. Over time, they create a sense of inner peace, the quiet, steady confidence that comes from knowing your actions reflect your values. But just as goodness nourishes us, harmful behaviors can quietly erode the foundation of our character. Being a bad person rarely looks dramatic. It often appears in subtle patterns. Stringing someone along because you enjoy their attention, even though you know you don't want anything real. This creates confusion, emotional harm, and distrust. Lying to avoid accountability, even small lies, begins to fracture your identity. You start living in mental fragmentation, where your outer story diverges from your inner truth. Using others as a source of convenience, reaching out only when you need something, slowly teaches your heart to value people not for who they are, but for how they serve you. Speaking harsh truths without compassion, hiding cruelty behind the excuse of being honest, damages not only others but the softness within you. You begin to lose emotional intelligence, becoming rigid instead of wise. Avoiding responsibility and repeatedly blaming others creates stagnation. You remove your own power. You end up trapped inside patterns you refuse to acknowledge. These behaviors don't just harm the world around you. They harm you. They create loneliness. They fuel guilt. They weaken your relationships. They breed distrust. And they strip away the sense of meaning that comes from living with integrity. Goodness, on the other hand, expands you. It enlarges your inner world. It gives you emotional coherence, a sense that your actions and your values are aligned. It makes relationships feel deeper, safer, more human. It brings long-term peace in exchange for short-term discomfort. It creates a sense of direction when life feels chaotic. And it strengthens your identity because you know who you are and what you stand for. And none of this requires perfection. You do not lose your goodness when you make a mistake. You lose it only when you stop caring, stop reflecting, stop trying. If you are someone who wonders whether you are a good person, that alone reveals your heart. Reflective people grow. Self-aware people evolve. People who care enough to question themselves are already on the path of goodness, because the absence of goodness usually begins with the absence of self-reflection. Being a good person is a lifelong practice, not a destination, not a title you earn once. It is a journey, a dialogue between who you are and who you are becoming. If this message helped you understand your own goodness a little more deeply, if it gave you clarity, comfort, or something to reflect on, then I invite you to stay connected. This channel is a space for emotional wisdom, psychology, philosophy, and the quiet inner work of becoming the best version of yourself. If you want more videos that support your growth, gently, honestly, consistently, feel free to subscribe and activate the notification bell. You don't have to change everything today. Goodness grows slowly. So do we. And I'll be here with you, one video at a time.